What's up, Ferrall fans? Mafia back with you, filling in for Scotty as he takes off for the holidays and nurses his broken hand. More on that maybe tomorrow. We'll see if we can get him to post a little Facebook video talking about his injury and showing you the damage afterwards from the Ferrall Palatial, but we'll see about that. What we're going to talk about tonight is, of course, 'tis the season, Christmas coming, Hanukkah for our Jewish friends, and it's all about gifts, who's good, who's not. A lot of people on Santa's naughty list at the beginning of this week, even though Christmas is coming up. I know we're not talking about Ezekiel Elliott from over the weekend with his antics of jumping into the big Salvation Army pot. Me personally, I liked it. I thought it was funny. Now, I'm kind of against using props in celebrations, so I can understand the penalty. I would understand if the NFL fined him. They didn't, which has a lot of people like OBJ and Brown up in arms. I understand why they didn't. They were scared with the whole charity thing. The last thing they want to do is get more negative attention for their fines, but that's neither here nor there, because that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is people who are looking to get cold this week because of the things they have done over the last couple days. Now, first of all, Richard Sherman. Last week, that Thursday night game, Seattle's on the 1-yard line going to throw for the touchdown, and he freaks out. Ball that really should have been picked, in my opinion. They gave it no pick, give it back to Seattle. Seattle ends up scoring, but they nearly turn it over again, a la shades of the Super Bowl against the Patriots, where they throw on the 1-yard line instead of the hand to Marshawn Lynch, and instead it's picked off, game over, they lose, Pats win. This time they lucked out. They still get the win because they were just killing LA anyway, but Richard Sherman freaked out, yells at Pete Carroll, yells at the offensive coordinator, doesn't want them throwing from the 1-yard line, throws a little temper tantrum. Of course, they played it like it was nothing after the game. It was just competitive nature, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff covered up for him. Then, this week, when his press conference starts, kind of doesn't give really answers. Doesn't show any, contrition. Doesn't feel bad. Even though he's kind of saying the right things, not really saying them. Not apologizing, just saying, hey, it is what it is, just trying to throw it under the rug. So as he's questioned further on it by one of the hosts in the Seattle area, he goes off on him, freaks out on him, and threatens to ruin his career by getting his credential taken away. Now, Richard Sherman's a very intelligent guy. He says a lot of things that make a lot of sense and that a lot of people like to hear. His criticizing of Goodell and the way he's handled, things from off-the-field issues to CBA, things of that nature. A lot of people applaud it. His critique of the refs, people are on, saying he's good points. His critique of Thursday Night Football, people have applauded and said it was great. But as with always with Richard Sherman, it seems like he takes one step forward and 2 steps back. So with all those things, he was building momentum about saying good things in the media and people saying, this guy's got something, he's on good points, he's making good ideas. What happens? He starts freaking out on his coaches. 1 step back. Then freaks out on the media. 2 steps back. You know what? He's going to like the questions. I understand that. People lose their temper. People get in the heat of the game where they might not like what things are going on. A lot of that's understandable. But when you threaten to ruin a guy's career over things, that's taking it way too far. If a player on the field threatened yours and tried to take out your knees, you would freak out, lose your mind, cry bloody murder. And with good reason. You do not threaten to take someone's livelihood and their career away. Now, of course, he went on Twitter later in the night and apologized, then tried to make a joke of it, saying that, Pete says I don't control credentials. Either way, went way too far. That's once again Richard Sherman getting in his own way. He does so much good, says so many smart things, and then does something really dumb and completely takes away all the goodwill. Number 2 on the list right now, DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie, out in Sacramento. Now, of course, he's had his issues throughout his career. A lot of immaturity, a lot of stupidity, a lot of technical fouls. One of the most dominant players in the NBA, especially for big men. But, again, gets in his own way and ruins it by doing dumb things and saying dumb things and getting in trouble. You have the whole thing with Matt Barnes and him in New York allegedly getting in the club brawl. They weren't charged as of yet, but there's a lawsuit against them. People saying that Matt Barnes was choking a female, and then Boogie Cousins was beating up the guy that she was with, throwing him on the ground, stomping him out. They deny it. Again, no charges pressed, but the lawsuit's against them. Then you have a writer last week write a story about all the things he's done and the issues he got into off field, brings his brother into it in a prior issue down in Florida. He freaks out on that guy, gets in his face, threatens him verbally, maybe even intimidates him to the point of him thinking something physically is going to happen and has to be pulled away by a teammate. And you think that's it. Because you know what? Sacramento does the right thing. They give him a big fine. He comes out, gives his apology, tries to sweep it under the rug, tries to move on. Just one more dumb thing in the long list of dumb things he's done and said. But guess what? That's not the end of it. Because pretty much the same day they give this fine out that the story kind of goes Monday, Tuesday. They play Tuesday night, has the game of his life. Puts it all behind him with 55 points. 55 points, just dominates for the Kings. Like he can, but even more so than he's ever had before. And you know what he does afterwards? At the end of the game, he gets in trouble and gets ejected and then unejected, which I don't know if you've ever seen it, I haven't. What happens, he scores the bucket, gets the foul, starts looking to the opposing team bench, the Trailblazers, and his mouthpiece flies out of his mouth. Now first the ref gave him the tech, ruled that he spit it out at them, threw him out of the game. So he goes racing to the locker room. Then the refs converge, they talk it out, and decide, oh, no, he didn't spit it. It just fell out of his mouth while he was talking. Bring him back, and he comes rushing out of the locker room again. Now, to me, first and foremost, the refs screwed that up. The refs botched that call. The guy did not let it fall out of his mouth. It flew out of his mouth. He spit it at him. And if he didn't spit it at him, if by a miracle that defense is correct, well, then guess what? Who was he talking to when it came out of his mouth? He wasn't talking to a fan. He was talking to the opposing bench. And you think he was sitting there saying, happy holidays, good to see you, thanks for a great game, have a nice trip afterwards? No, he was talking smack, which should have gotten technical anyway. So whether he spit it out or you give him the tech for just talking smack to the opposing team bench, he still should be out of the game. That's it. No bringing him back. But the refs were scared. This guy's having this huge game. They're in Sacramento, and they can't let it go. They got to save him and try to save themselves. So they bring him back in. It was the wrong call. But once again, Boogie Cousins being immature and stupid. This guy cannot get out of his way. He has all the talent in the world and cannot grow up. This isn't a guy who's been in the league 1, 2, 3 years. He's been in the league a while now. He should have grown up already. He can't. We've seen him get in fights with coaches. We've seen him get in fights with teammates. We've seen him get in his own way left and right. And he's killing Sacramento Kings. Not necessarily in the win column all the time, because like I said, he had 55 points last night, dominated the game, brought them to the win, but it's killing them because they're not going to get anything for him. Obviously, at this point, he's not happy there. He's run a bunch of coaches out of town. He's run a bunch of teammates out of town. It's his team only. He can say all he wants that he gets along with everybody and he loves the city, but if you don't win, guys like that aren't happy. He's going to want out. He's going to want to pull a Kevin Love and get out of there. Problem now is all the antics that he keeps pulling, all these technical fouls he keeps getting, all these things he keeps saying to people, to reporters, to fans, to whoever, is ruining his trade value. Because a lot of these teams that might want him are going to be worried about what he's going to do off the court. Going to be worried about him getting suspended by the league for doing dumb things. So now Sacramento putting him on the block probably because as much as they say we want to keep him, we love him, he says he loves it there, in the end they don't want to lose him for nothing. And they know their odds of keeping him after this year are probably pretty slim. He's got another year left for next year. No one's going to take him next year for a high price and then lose him in the free agency. So if the Sacramento Kings want to get the most they can, they got to trade him by the deadline this year. But as more of these things keep happening, they're going to get less and less back for him. So all the money that they put into him, they're not going to get much out. It's going to kill them. If they can get anyone. I mean, they're going to have to take pennies on the dollar because these teams are going to be worried. These good teams that don't necessarily need the headache are not going to give them much for him. So Boogie Cousins needs to grow up once again. Speaking of guys who need to grow up, this one's a little younger, but still old enough he should know better, is Grayson Allen of Duke. In tonight's game against Elon. Not a really heated rivalry. Not a huge game where you lose your head playing against North Carolina because you hate each other's guts. Not playing for an ACC tournament or NCAA tournament where it's live or die. A game against Elon in non-conference before Christmas. He's guarding the guard, driving down the baseline, bumps him, gets the foul called against him. What does he do? He turns, sticks his leg out, and trips the kid. And this isn't the first time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He did it twice last year. This kid's got to grow up. This kid's acting like a spoiled little brat once again. And he's not a freshman. He's not some dumb kid that just got in, 18 years old, doesn't know any better. He's a junior under Coach Krzyzewski at Duke. How is he putting up with this? Now, Coach K afterwards made him go apologize to the kid, said it was unacceptable in the press conference, but still kind of apologized for him. It doesn't seem like he's going to suspend him. What are you doing, Coach K? you have probably the most respect of anybody in college basketball, maybe in basketball in general. Everybody bows down to Coach K. I mean, the guy coaches the national team, and guys who never even went to college, who are NBA superstars, praise him and his coaching and everything he does. So he is the bastion of basketball. Everyone looks up to him. Him and Popovich are on the Mount Rushmore of current coaches in basketball. And he's not going to punish this kid. And he hasn't punished him before. And you know, it's not just me saying he should be punished. It's not just radio pundits and other people. It's a lot of former players. It's a lot of former coaches. Some of his own former players. Jay Williams on the postgame just tore into Grayson Allen. The kid's got to grow up. He's being stupid. He's being dumb. And the only way he's going to learn is if you sit him on the bench. And not just for the first 5 minutes and don't start him. Not just for the first half. You have to sit him at least a game. And if Coach K's not going to do it, if Duke's not going to do it, and they're going to hurt the reputation of their university by letting this kid act like a petulant child, then the ACC needs to step up and say, listen, just because you are, the program of programs in college basketball for all of eternity does not mean you can let little kids do stupid things. We're going to suspend him. So I think Coach K and Duke need to get ahead of it and suspend him for this next game against Virginia Tech. Otherwise, it could get worse because this kid just hasn't learned. He can cry all he wants in the locker room. I'm not buying it because the third time you did it, I'm not believing you're sorry. You keep doing it. It's a pattern. You're stupid. Grow up. So that's 3 people right now on Santa's naughty list as we head towards Christmas, heading for a lot of coal. We'll see if they can turn things around and they can get their head in the game and really just learn from their mistakes and grow up, because so far the 3 of them have repeated the same things over and over in their career and really making everybody tired of it. So Mafia signing off. I'll see you again tomorrow. If I don't hear from you, have a happy holidays and make sure you tune in every night, even when Scotty's out, and check out FerrallOnTheBench.com for all his action every day.